Good morning, dear students. We'll be discussing about boiling in this lecture. So, to begin with, I would like to tell you something about boiling. Boiling, as all of us know, it is phase change from liquid to vapor. On the other side, condensation is phase change from vapor to liquid. Okay. So, before we proceed further, let us try to understand the boiling with the TH diagram. Maybe I will try to explain. I think you have learned this in your previous ATD course or previous semester courses. So point 1, point 2, point 3, we have point 4. Okay. So this may not be perfect, but try to understand the concept. So approximately when you start supplying heat to water in a container, it may start with approximately around 30 degrees Celsius. Okay. So as you are supplying heat, so what is happening? The water is getting heated up, means its temperature is increasing with the supply of heat. Okay. So at some point of time it will reach this saturated liquid line. We call it as saturated liquid line. Okay. So this will be our critical point. Approximately this is our critical point, and this will be our saturated vapor line. Okay. So left side will be saturated liquid line, right side will be saturated vapor line. Okay. So once with the supply of heat, it reaches approximately for 1 bar pressure. So the line 1 2 3 4 is indicating it is a constant pressure line, which is atmospheric pressure 1 bar. Okay. So this point is indicating water has reached approximately 100 degrees Celsius for 1 bar pressure. Okay. With the increase of pressure, the saturation temperature of water will increase. Okay. With the decrease of pressure, it will decrease. So keep that thing in mind. So again, once you reach within the vapor dome, we see 2 to 3. It is a straight line. So what is this indicating? As we are supplying heat, okay, as we are supplying heat, there is no rise in temperature. But where the heat is going? The heat is utilized to change the phase of saturated liquid to saturated vapor. So point 2 is indicating saturated liquid, point 3 is indicating saturated vapor. Okay. So 1 to 2 we call it as sensible heat addition, whereas 2 to 3 we call it as latent heat addition. Okay. So this is 1 to 2, 2 to 3. 3 to 4 will be superheat addition. Okay. So that will be superheat addition, or again it is a kind of sensible heating also. So you can see 1 to 2 with the supply of heat, the temperature is increasing, whereas there is no phase change, that is sensible heating. 2 to 3 with the supply of heat, there is no change in temperature, but there is phase change. Okay. And one more important point is that I hope this thing is clear. I would like to mention one more point, that the heat content in HFG, which is latent heat, we mention it as latent heat, it is quite high compared to sensible heat, which will be like HF or something like that. So the heat content in case of HFG is quite high. So remember this point. And for calculating heat transfer in the latent heat zone, we will be using Q dot is equal to mf into HFG. So here m dot is the mass flow rate. Okay. So this equation we will be using. We will not be using the regular equation. So which is actually, you know that Q is equal to mCp delta T. So why we are not using this equation for latent heat zone? Because the temperature is remaining constant. If you use this equation, you will get Q is equal to 0, which is totally wrong. So keep this thing in mind. For the line 1 to 2 we'll be using this equation. For line 3 to 4, if you recall the figure, for line 3 to 4 we will be using m dot into HFG, and the heat addition or removal in the constant line that indicating 2 to 3 is quite high compared to 1 to 2. So it requires more amount of heat, also it requires more amount of heat to be added or taken out. Okay, this is the basic thing which I wanted to discuss. Now the boiling or condensation, their mode of heat transfer, it is also kind of convection only, but here the amount of heat addition or removal, it will be quite more than that compared to convection, normal convection. Okay, proceeding further, boiling, we have some the kind of question to be asked. You can see that explain effect of different mechanisms of boiling. There are different 4 types: pool boiling, we have forced boiling, we have subcooled boiling, local boiling, that is subcooled or local boiling, saturated boiling. Okay, so for understanding purpose, the example is taken. Consider a container in which there is a coil at the bottom somewhere here. So this is nothing but heater submerged in liquid. We can assume heating of water in a container. In day-to-day life, we usually heat the water in a container for bath purpose. So here the Ts, we can see this Ts is the temperature of the surface which is coil, and T saturation is indicating the saturation temperature corresponding to 1 bar. Okay. Proceeding further, there may be another question in exam. The neat sketch explain boiling regimes. This is very important. Boiling regimes, it is explained in 3 phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1 is free convection zone, where the heat transfer is happening because of buoyancy effect. So the bottom layer, initially the bottom layer, which is very in close contact with the coil, it gets heated up, or it is in close contact with the surface, it gets heated up first. As its temperature increases, it will become light, means its density will decrease. So it tries to move up to the top layer, and the next denser layer, which is comparatively dense, will come down. So like this, there will be free convection current set up. So we call it as, for the first zone, we call it as free convection zone with respect to that temperature range. Okay, so that you can see in the graph. Approximately for this temperature range, we have, actually this graph is indicating heat flux versus delta TE. Here delta TE indicating excess temperature, TS minus TSAT. So TS will be continuously increasing as we supply heat, and TSAT, it is indicating for given pressure the saturation temperature of water. For 1 bar, it is usually 100 degrees Celsius. So TS increases as we are continuously supplying heat. So TS, it depends on how much heat we are supplying. So as you can see, continuously delta TE is increasing along the x-axis. So delta TE is in x-axis. The temperature can be measured in degrees Celsius, and Q, small q, is heat flux. It is in y-axis. So you can see from here to here it is free convection zone. From here to here it is nucleate boiling. Then it will be film boiling. So in nucleate boiling, again it is in 2 phases. Initially, with the required temperature, once the required temperature is attained for this nucleate boiling, initially from the bottom of the surface, bubbles will start to form, and they will not rise up to the surface, because in between they collapse. Then so this is how this nucleate boiling starts. Then by the time they reach the surface, the nucleate boiling will it will stop from this point to this point. Okay, as the bubbles start forming and collapsing, they will release more and more heat. So we can see the curve is continuously increasing till this point. Okay, so the bubbles are forming and they are in between they are breaking. So we are seeing that they increase in temperature, there is continuous rise in heat flux. Further, as these bubbles are forming and they are collapsing, they are forming a layer. With the help of this figure, I will try to explain. So they are forming a layer at the bottom of the surface, some kind of layer like this, which creates a vapor film, which acts like a resistance for the heat flow. As the resistance of vapor film, as the thermal conductivity of vapor film is comparatively less compared to water, so there will be additional resistance for the heat flow. So you can see there is steep decrease in the heat flux even if there is increase in heat, even if there is increase in delta TE, excess temperature. So this is the reason why the heat flux is decreasing, because there is a vapor film which will be created at the bottom of the surface, which will not allow the heat to easily pass through for the upper layers. So there will be slight resistance again at higher temperatures. You can see once the radiation and the stable film formation is taken place, we can see that there is heat flux is increasing. Okay, so you can go through the content and you can easily explain this curve. This is a very important question from exam point of view. I have briefed out the important things about the question, and we need to remember some temperature ranges. So this we will discuss when we take up problems. Okay, so there will be another question, something like this: write a short note on critical heat flux or burnout point. So the content is here, you can read it out. So correlations used in boiling. Initially for nucleate boiling we have these correlations. So this is heat flux Q by A and this is maximum heat flux. Maximum heat flux is indicating to the particular point which we have seen in the figure. So this is maximum heat flux. So nucleate boiling is for this reason. So the problems what we are solving, it will be in this zone, and even temperatures may not be exactly like this only, it may be more than this. Usually till 50 degrees Celsius we take it to be 50 degrees Celsius delta TE. I mean to say, for excess temperature 50 degrees Celsius we take it to be nucleate boiling. So these formulas will be applicable for that zone. Then note, for this case all the properties for formula 1 and 2, all the properties are to be noted at Tsat. Okay, then stable film boiling is after this region. So from this region we will take it as stable film boiling. So sorry, actually it is not stable. From this point we will take it as stable film boiling, and usually we take approximately the temperatures around 150 degrees Celsius. So you can see a note over here. Nucleate boiling means delta T will be approximately around 50 degrees Celsius, and for film boiling it will be greater than 150 degrees Celsius. So this is excess temperature, which is Tsat minus Ts minus Tsat. So for this temperature range, radiation will come into picture because the temperatures are high. So we have to calculate Q convection and Q radiation both. Okay, and in the data handbook, for this is not 0.4, this is approximately 0.68. So in the formula we will be using the formula which is there in the data handbook. So we'll take it as 0.68 and we will solve the problems. Okay, so after finding out H convection and H radiation, we'll be finding out H value using this formula. Okay, so in the next class we'll take up one problem and we'll try to understand how to use the data handbook. Actually we'll be in the exam, we'll get two types of problems: nucleate boiling and stable film boiling. You can see I have attached a page in the data handbook. So you can see there will be two types: nucleate pool boiling and stable film boiling. So we will be using this formula or this formula with the temperatures, noting with the properties which are required, will be noting down corresponding to a temperature, and we'll be using this formula. For H convection, for H radiation, we'll be using this formula. Finally, we'll be calculating average using this formula. Okay, and there is slight changes in noting down the properties of the properties which are required to solve the problem. So those things we'll discuss in the problem itself. Okay, thank you.